Hey everyone, it's Louis, and today really excited to have CyberLink number 15. For those of you here that are new, CyberLink is essentially the place where we give, let's say, video format newsletter. It's a way in which you catch up with all the updates of the XBorg ecosystem. You learn about the most recent news, the things we want to discuss, or the things that we want to highlight. And we did not have a CyberLink for quite some time, I have to say. Pretty packed updates. A lot happened recently. And you see here the agenda. We'll discuss about the XBG Presale, XBG token and utilities, the Launchpad. We've launched also our first app with the esports teams. And yeah, so quite a lot to discuss. Let's first welcome all of you that are new. So we did welcome a lot of new people on our within our ecosystem, whether that was via our presale, via our free mints, but also just on Twitter. Overall, I think the number of people that got to know XBorg has 2x'd recently, and so we just wanted to emphasize the how we go about our community and how we do things at XBorg. I think first is community. Community to us is very important. You'll see, but we never raised capital from VCs. We've always been very close to our community from the onset and the genesis of XBorg. So to us, community is very important. Nurturing this relationship between the community and the core team is very important. That's also why we have those videos and those CyberLinks, is to inform you of the progress that we're making. Second is transparency. CyberLinks are also a way in which we put transparency forward. Overall transparency is key at XBorg, whether it's transparency between the core team members and the community, but also transparency within the core team itself. And so we are trying our best so we can tell you as much as possible about what's happening behind the scene. The other things that obviously we can't mention that pertain to partnerships, or you'll see listings on exchanges, but transparency is something that's key to us, and I think it's key to how we've built our community so far. A third point is governance. Governance is a key part into how we activate our community, and people watching here. Governance is a way in which you truly have a say over our ecosystem. We apply governance with the Prometheus NFT. It's going to be applied to the XBG token in a way that's truly decentralized, because that was true with the Prometheus NFT, but that will also be true to the tokens, is the core team actually does not have the ability to veto a given community decision, or we don't have enough voting power to do so. Lastly, it's rewarding. We're making it so that based on the tokenomics of the XBG token, you have a large pool of tokens that actually go to the community. So we believe that people that add value to the community should get rewarded. And so people that participate in governance, are active in the community, will get rewarded. And that will be made clear in a later slide. A key event was obviously the presale. I was actually quite surprised we did not make even a single CyberLink on this event. But we concluded this milestone last week. Some kind of internal feedback on how we felt about the presale. I definitely say it was very intense to run a presale. We did learn a lot about how to conduct a presale, how to gauge momentum. The summary is the team is happy about the outcome because we've raised 5.7 million from the community out of a target raise of about 5 million. So we over the target. I think some decisions that we've made were not the best. Namely, building the presale app internally and essentially consuming the internal dev resources to build this app. I think that was a mistake on our end, and that's something that we've learned. And that at the end of the day put a lot of pressure on the team but we've also learned a couple of things on the business side, that how we could have done things better, how to activate KOLs, etc. I think it would be worthy to write like a full summary of our take on the pre-sale. But overall, given market conditions, we were very content and happy with the outcome. That's to date. So if you look at year to date, that was one of the biggest pre-sale, and also considering the market conditions. So yes, if you're looking at this video, Bitcoin is nearing towards 60,000, which back when we started XBorg, that would have felt very different. But the sentiment on riskier assets or altcoins is not the best. So I think we really did put first a lot of effort, and that did pay off for the pre-sale. What I wanted to also highlight here is where will the money go. So you might see, or you might have committed and be wondering, where is my money actually going? We'll give a short answer after this, but first we have a transparency dashboard that's in the works. We won't give any ETA on when will this go live, but you'll essentially see key metrics about the XBorg ecosystem, whether that's the number of credentials we are aggregating on our identity layer, uptime of different tech services that we're building, treasury, but also how much we're burning, etc. And so you'll see the flow of capital on this dashboard, which is key to emphasize on transparency, which is a point I brought in the earlier slide. But short is it goes mainly in 3 different sectors. One is people, people that work behind XBorg. Today, more than 2/3 of the expenses go towards engineering. So, XBorg is a Web3 protocol. Actually, most of the people that you interact with, if you're watching this from a community angle, you mostly interact with people from the non-tech side. But 2/3 of, I guess, what we spend today is really on the engineering. So that will continue to be that way. Another segment is marketing and growth. That will enable us to, spend money in a way that we believe gets us good return investment on the money. So as we've, for example, launched the token, is to do specific campaigns with some KOLs, some BINIAs, potentially attend events and have presence on those events, things that we were not able to afford and that we believe grants us positive return investment. And a third element, and that's not the least, is exchanges and liquidity. So as you know, a pre-sale is before a token launch, and that means token launch is around the corner. And to facilitate the launch of a token, you need liquidity. Liquidity on centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges, but you also need to pay a fee to list on those exchanges, which we are pursuing. And so a good deal of that amount will go towards this. Now, because we discussed about the pre-sale, and for those of you that are new, wanted to highlight the utilities of the XBG token. One is governance. You'll see a lot of projects that say governance is part of the utility of their token. The truth is, in most protocols, governance is not really applied, or at least applied in a way that's, I would say, in most part, irrelevant. I believe we did show great abilities to have decentralized governance power within the XBorg ecosystem. That was the goal of the Prometheus NFT. I did believe that I do believe that we did this in a good way, potentially not a great way, but good way. And this will be applied to the XBG token. So as we move forwards, XBorg today is not fully decentralized because we have many different partners. But as we scale out the infrastructure and we become a bit more autonomous, we believe that we'll be able to achieve more governance. But rest assured, the core team will still navigate the ship. So that means core team will do the groundwork and will have some key decisions that are left to the community to decide upon. Those can be economics of the protocol. Those can be launching new products or new functionalities on the protocol. Second, and most probably the most important one, is payments and fees. So we have different XBorg powered applications. The big focus today was the fan protocol. So the applications that interact with fans are built on top of our identity layer, where you have different services that are paid by businesses directly, so by esports teams or by users. Those can be battle passes or unique wearables on the apps that we build. So for this, the XBG token is the payment currency or payment token. I do want to stress though that on some applications there won't be the XBG token for sake of adoption, is we believe that our token will still be relatively new token and not known to the public and not accessible for everyone. And so that means in some instances it's going to be fiat payments or fiat gateways or stable coins, but in the background we'll process the fees with XBG on-ramps. So we put essentially the work in the background and not user facing. Third aspect is the reward pool. As I did mention, is interacting with the community, and XBorg is a rewarding experience. So we want to make sure that people that hold a stake in XBorg and contribute positively will receive rewards. So you can think of it as sort of active staking. I want to highlight though that if you don't provide value to the ecosystem, and buying the token is not sufficient, in the sense that if you're just buying the token, you're not adding tremendous value to the ecosystem, and that's the truth, because an ecosystem grows not just by the token price, but more so by the, adoption of the protocol. Is the more you contribute to the ecosystem, so that can be having the XBorg ID, taking part in Discord, taking part in governance, governance proposals, you will receive rewards that are based on your contributions. The fourth aspect is the gated access. So on some parts of our protocol, can be the Launchpad, can be also a tokenized esports team. A third point is the notification system. Those are gated to specific demographics or specific requirements. So for example, the Launchpad will be gated to the XBG token and the Prometheus NFT, but also the tokenized esports team. That's a subject that actually was discussed a long time ago. And we have great news on this. Big tangent here, but we've actually have now the legal framework to doing this. Took us about 1.5 years, but we'll actually be able to pursue this towards this year. Now, because we took such a long time to actually do this, mostly because of legal constraints, I don't want to commit to a specific date. I think that's giving false hope, but we are doing our best, and the team is actually working hard in the background for this. Well, has continuously been working hard on this for the last 1.5 years, but it's potentially a topic for another time actually. Gas token is the fifth aspect. As you know, we've actually haven't made so much noise about this, but there will come a time where a scaling solution for XBorg will be built. We believe that focusing on infrastructure and decentralized infrastructure is not a priority. We believe that we should focus on distribution. But at the time of releasing the blockchain for the XBorg blockchain, XBG will be the gas token, meaning that for any interactions on a token, so Launchpad would be also on the blockchain. That means if you want to interact with the Launchpad, you need to have XBG token as a requirement to access, but also to transact. And that also means the fees and the payments across all the products are powered by the XBG token. Now, if you've watched this slide before, and then most importantly, you've contributed to the pre-sale, you might have some questions. There are also some topics that we wanted to bring up here. One is KYC. It's very important that I believe by the time watching this, the 9th of May. So you have 3 days left to do the KYC. I believe so far we have about 300 addresses that did not complete the KYC. So, 12th midnight, if KYC is not done, you will be refunded. And that means that your commitments will be refunded. You will get back your USDC, and you won't have XBG tokens. We also, as that was always the plan, to have a refund periods for people that want to get a refund on a pre-sale. That's up until the 30th of May, after which you won't be able to claim a refund. We have this strict deadline because we also need to pay out the different referral fees. As you know, if you refer someone, you get a 5% kickback, and so we will process the referral payouts on the 40th. So that's why this timing is important. Now, if you took part in the pre-sale, you need to know that there are specific lock and vesting conditions. So 15% of your tokens are available at TG. So whenever the token goes live on exchanges and is tradable and liquid, you have 15% of your tokens available. And then the rest is being vested daily for a period of 15 months. That means that every day you'll be able to claim your tokens, but it's going to be the first day you'll be able to claim like 1/30th to the 15th token. So it's like just you essentially can just only claim your piece of the pie which you bought during the pre-sale. Also wanted to clarify some other vesting terms. One is the Prometheus. So Prometheus holders get 1.5% of the total supply that was announced sometime back on Twitter. It gets 0%. It's actually false. It gets so there's essentially no lock, but there is. What that means is it's a 12-month vesting, and so the first month, so on TG you get 1/12 of that. And then the vesting starts. Contributors get 15% unlock at TG, 6-month lock, and 12-month vesting. I believe so far we have about 300k XBG tokens that are allocated to contributors. And just if you're wondering about how you claim your tokens, you can just head over to the website presale.xborg.com. There is a claim button that's grayed out today, but that will be plugged in as soon as the token goes live. Now we can move on to a different chapter, the XBorg Launchpads. So we actually did have so many deals recently, most of which sold out quite quickly. Now we have, for this month, we have 3 deals, one private, so we can't discuss about this publicly. It's only the inner community that will have access to the deal and the terms. But the other one is Shadow War and Everreach Labs. So those 3 deals will occur in the period of May. Wanted to stress now on the community rewards. If you are reading the light paper of XBorg, you do see that there is a great portion of the XBG token that's allocated to the community. And here you have the breakdown of the current allocations. So far we've allocated more than 2% of the whole supply to community rewards. And it goes, majority goes to actually to Prometheus holders, but then the rest goes to the Epoch 1, Epoch 2, XBorg Council, Hall of Fame members, and XBG Challenge participants. So that's the breakdown. Do want to stress though that those were, we're only getting started. We have the ability to emit more than, I believe, 8 times this amount of rewards. And so that means we'll continue to reward people within our ecosystem. It's not because the XBG token is live that there won't be rewards. It's actually the opposite, is that there will be more rewards moving forward that are tied to usage of the protocol. Some of which go to the the reward pool that I've discussed on the utility. We had a pretty exciting day yesterday. As you know, we have XBorg as the identity protocol. So there is like a layer that inscribes players' data, and then you have applications that inject data into this layer. And we really focused on esports teams as a way to aggregate as much data as possible into that layer. And one of the first few teams we've onboarded was Ninjas in Pyjama. That's a Swedish team. They've been around for more than a few decades now. They were pioneers in the Counter-Strike era. It's a world-renowned esports team. Has a few 100,000 fans, and we've launched the app, so you can head over to the app. It's called dojo.nip.gl. You have the link here. It was an important moment for us because this is actually what brings user to the credential network, and we've been working on this for quite some time. Not just this app, but many other different apps, and this one is has been released yesterday. The feedback that I can tell you about this is we initially, so the dev team, we had built the infrastructure for quite some time. We figured it was not scalable enough to have, let's say, 100,000 users on the stress test. So it was an important period to handle the overall load of the infrastructure. We had just in the last 30 days about 100,000 unique visitors to our infrastructure, and so we were facing those scalability issues, which are now, I would say, towards 80% solved by the engineering team, and we're working on it. But the great outcome here is that the launch was, we had peak number of users within the infrastructure, and the infrastructure had 0% downtime, so we're very happy about this. About the app itself, we do believe that there are still things that we need to improve. It's the first iteration. We're here to take feedback from users. Feedback from the fans of NIP was positive. We understand that there are things to improve, and we're working towards that. But yeah, very happy that this is launched. That sets a good precedent for the things that are coming up. And we actually have a slide here on business development update, and so you'll see we are replicating what we've done with this team to a lot of different teams, and a lot more teams actually. We did have a lot of questions. There are still some questions that we were yet to answer. When is TG expected? We in May. That's the expectations we have. Now you have to understand the date won't be communicated by us. It will be communicated by the exchanges. Reason I can't give a date is twofold. One, because exchanges do have a strong say on when you launch, second, usually you're not allowed to communicate about a date even if you know the date. So that's sort of where we stand, and I know it's not the best answer. I know you would want to have an exact date, but that's the truth. That does not only apply to XBorg, but also any projects out there. So although we're doing as fast as possible, and we still want to act wisely in the sense that we believe that there is the best time to launch, but we believe that launching in the current environment is actually fine. So just can't wait for the different exchanges to announce the date and to announce the listing. It usually happens 7 days, between 3 to 7 days before the actual listing. So it's a pretty short time frame. When will GamerBase be available again? So we have taken down GamerBase during the NIP launch. So the NIP launch was yesterday. The reason for it is because we wanted to make sure that we had as little traffic as possible on the app that was not, let's say, necessary, because we wanted to make sure the launch for NIP was smooth. And over the last 3 weeks, we really worked super hard on the infrastructure, and we've solved essentially all of the issues. And that was the main reason for it. On Gamerbase, we had about like 50,000 monthly visitors. So we just wanted to make sure it was not hindering the launch of an IP, which it did not. So Gamerbase now will soon be back online. You'll hear about it. I have to say it was not our biggest priority. Our biggest priority was to make sure the partners that we work with, those that actually bring a lot of traffic to our credential infrastructure and our identity layer, are actually happy with the experience that we provide. So Gamerbase comes as second priority. So as soon as we decide that it's going to be back up, it's going to be back up. Third question, and that's not going to be as satisfactory as most of you want. Talking about launch price, that's something we typically can't mention. First, because we don't have. Yes, we do have a say over like what price we want to. Market makers agree to launch the price at, but we also don't want to give false expectations. Like we don't want to say XBG token launches at $5, so people just have those high expectations, and at the end of the day, the market will decide the price and not us, except when it lists the token. So then the price of XBG token will be as much as demands outpaces supply, and it's just supply and demands, just basic economics. We had a bunch of questions also on chestplate NFTs, and what can you do to a chestplate NFT? We did have a lot of people that were selling the NFT because that was one of the perks was that you would access the presale. There will be more utilities that are announced about the chestplate NFT. One direct utility you have today is access to the Launchpad, and it's a pretty high up tier in the Launchpad. That's going to be there is an equivalent in XBG token. That's only what I want to say today, because we're working on the other utilities, and I also don't want to give false perceptions of that. Like the truth is, today the main utility is the Launchpad. More will come as we build more things into infrastructure. But yes, there will be airdrops. There will be strong ecosystem applications or functionalities that will be tied to it. But I think for that we need a bit more time, and we don't want to rush into it. Lastly, the best way to contact XBorg Support, is to simply go on our Discord. If you go on the Presale app, you also see we have an intercom chatbot, so you can directly chat with our team and support team. So I would say if it's about the presale, you can head over to presale.xborg.com. If it's about general purpose questions, our Discord is always open, and our team, either core team or team of moderators, are doing an insane work. And on this note, great transition to elect some members of the month. We have here 4 amazing members that did work for many hours, actually countless hours, in the XBG ecosystem. We have the wise, the brave, the solver, and the unexpected. But I did mention that on Discord once, but I'm super grateful about all of you. Ino Diablo, Inscroll, Belladon, and I call you Dutch. I don't want to pronounce the last part of the name, but all of you 4 contributed immensely to our ecosystem, to making sure you fill the gap, or sometimes the core team could not handle some loads, whether that was on the community during the presale, or whether that was helping out on the tickets. As a big part of why the community of XBorg, it feels great to be a part of it, is because there are great moderators and amazing people that help. You also don't see so much about this, but what you see is, for example, Belladon on the product is helping a lot on the quality assurance of the product, so what we call QA. So Belladon is an incredible asset when it comes to noticing bugs and solving bugs, and so here it's really provided a hands-on support, and for that we're very, very grateful. We are also hiring quite a bit of profiles. As you see, it's mainly engineering profiles. We also have a new joiner that actually started today. So if you're watching this, Nicolas, welcome again to the team. He's joining the team as a senior product designer, and he was previously one of the lead designers at Blitz, Blitz being one of the most, I would say, renowned gaming app. So what that means is we'll have a lot better looking apps, apps that truly feel like gaming apps, but also apps that are built to onboard the masses and that feel very native to a gamer. The 4 roles that we're recruiting for: senior front-end engineer, senior back-end engineer, 1 QA engineer, and lastly 1 graphic designer to continue making great content, whether that's on our socials, CyberLinks, or any visual that goes out. Amongst, I would say, the thing I'm most excited about is definitely the business dev. So business development is how we are partnering with esports teams or gaming brands or communities to use our products. We today have 4 live integrations, so that means 4 integrations with our protocol that are live today. Only the app with an IP is actually out to the public, but the app with Team EDS and Team Liquid are already live. You can, if you're a good hunter, you can actually potentially find the URL of the app, but it's only to a set of a few thousand, or well, a few hundred to a few thousand people that access it today. It's mostly fans that like cool fans that have access to it. And we have 11 integrations in progress, and that means whatever you saw, like the announcement, we essentially have a bit less than 4 times what you. Well, we've actually only announced 3 live integrations, so like 3 partnerships. So what you can get out of this is we have 4 times what we've announced that's in the works. I think that can also explain why the team's been very busy, and why this plus the pre-sale, plus like the chest-plate mint, it was a lot to take in for the whole team. Plus hiring on the side, that was, I gotta say, that was very busy time. But here I want to stress that we are actually one of the tech companies, so protocol, and not really talking about Web3, but really just irrespective of the Web2 or Web3, as we are one of the tech companies that integrated with the most amount of esports team. And here I want to stress that the team that we've partnered with, so the teams that are in progress are all tier 1 teams. So there is no team that we've partnered with that is not a tier 1 team. And tier 1 team to us is a team that at least won like a world, like a renowned championship, or that's known to at least 200,000 fans. And that's that's quite a strong feat. Last one I will say on this is the partnerships are organic, so we actually get paid for these partnerships, which makes business development harder, but which makes also the XBorg ecosystem a lot more sustainable. So we're not throwing money at those teams, which happen very frequently in Web3, but they actually are paying us to build on our protocol, and that's I would say today one of our strongest assets. And I also wanted to highlight this, which is essentially why what I said earlier matters, is we essentially have the world's biggest esports teams that are building on top of our protocol. In terms of size, so you have a bit more context. The actual fan base from the from the 15 teams that are either live or in progress represents 7 million fans in total. So these are not like actual reach, but it's the actual like fan base of those of those teams. And here we're really onto a different scale. which is great to see, and that's also why we're confident that this is going to put us to 1 million users by the end of the year. What I also did mention it's more of a personal note, and not sure it's worthy to be mentioned here, but part of my personal allocation as founder of the project will be locked, given the number of users we have. So that means if XBorg Custom does not win, the team does not win. It's going to be shared publicly. But I think it's something we can be pretty proud of. I want to stress that in Web3 you have a lot of projects that say, hey, we have 100,000 users or we have 1 million users, but the truth is Web3 is still very small. Most people saying this are just doing it for the marketing, but in actuality, there is no users, there is no million users in Web3, and here we really are bringing those people into their first steps into Web3. And when you talk about 7 million fan base, that's totally different from saying you have millions of airdrop farmers. And the thing that is important is, XBorg is an identity protocol, and we are competing with other identity protocols, and that's totally fine. But I do want to stress that today we have the best distribution. So there is no other protocol that has the distribution that we have to the esports teams. And that makes for amazing barriers to entry, because a team that is signing with us has actually, non-exclusive, so it's exclusive to us. So that means they can't go with other platforms and do their own stuff. And that is, for XBorg, an amazing thing. Lastly, because now the CyberLink is getting quite long, is what's next? And here, these are only, I would say, very short-term and things, but mostly for the next days or weeks. But one is the public launch, of XBG. Second is the multiple fan apps that will be launched. Team Liquid, it's actually going out this month as well. Team ES will follow just after, so it's going to be a very busy period for releases. So whatever you saw with Dojo, which is the app of NIP, that's going to be replicated with a lot more teams. And so you saw now, we're working with about 15 teams. That means we have, at least about 13 announcements that we'll make with esports teams. People will really change their perceptions as to who we are, because working with one is big. 3, that's even bigger, but 15 is something that no one's ever done actually in Web3, and we did it, and very proud and can't wait to show this to the community and to the Web3 world. And there will be more partnerships that will be announced, not just with esports teams, but ecosystems, pretty well-known blockchains, but also just gaming brands and other things that we've been cooking for the last few months and weeks. That being said, that concludes the CyberLink 15. That one was pretty long, but I hope that you had a great time watching it. If you're watching it on YouTube, what helps is that you do support it by leaving a like. You can also tell us if you have any suggestions or things we can improve on the comment section. We also do appreciate constructive feedback throughout our journey. And if you wish to learn more about the ecosystem, you can always join our community or just ask any questions in our Discord group, and we'll answer. On that note, thank you so much, everyone, and I wish you an amazing day, evening, morning, whenever you're watching this.